You don't know what you don't know. This is a huge fucking problem that I have had, and I'm 100% sure that you're having this too. You literally don't know what is that you don't know. Like, it's in the unknown, right? Like, if I asked you, bro, what's your height? You can kind of picture in your head, like, I'm 5'6", I'm 6'6". But if you didn't even know that there's this thing called manifestation, like, you've never heard of it, nobody's ever told you, you've never seen anything about it, and yet manifestation was the one thing you needed to know to become a success, and you've been like 7 years you've been trying to become an entrepreneur, and it's not happened. You're not even gonna look for the fucking answers, and that thing is holding you back. And this is the problem with, like, us as entrepreneurs or anybody. It's like we don't know what we don't know, and this keeps us stuck. And this keeps us not only stuck, but it keeps us in suffering, because you literally can't fix the problem without knowing that there is a problem. You can't look for a solution without knowing that there's a problem. What do you do in that situation, right? And, like, I use the manifestation example right now because I didn't know this shit, like, was this in depth, and, like, there's so much to it, right? I've always heard about, like, Conor McGregor and all these guys talk about, like, law of attraction, visualize. And I was just like, oh, okay, I close my eyes and, like, think of, like, my private jet, like, once in a year, or, like, when shit went really bad, I would think about it one time. But this isn't that. Like, there's so much to it. Like, Michael Phelps and all these guys do it like 10 times a day, like morning, night, afternoon, right? And I'm just using manifestation as one example. I didn't know reading was such a big thing. Like, yeah, I know reading is a thing. Like, people read like Harry Potter and, like, some science book and all. But I didn't know that business books and this stuff was so important. I used to watch Patrick B. David talk about reading and reading. But I thought it was like, okay, after I become a millionaire or, like, multi-millionaire, and, like, I'm running a big business, then it's important. I didn't know it had all the things that I needed now. Like, now. Like, this is the only way I'm gonna go forward, right? I literally didn't know all the things that I needed to know, and I didn't even look. And that kept me stuck for so fucking long. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys, like, I'm going to tell you guys the few things that you need to do to make sure that you don't get to that place of I don't know what I don't know, right? So the first thing is reading books. This pretty much solves it, like 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 80%, okay? Because there's books on every single thing. Money, business, spirituality, sex, dating, friendships, diet, exercise, like hacking, money laundering. You can, space travel, whatever topic you have. If you can just look for that and you can find a book on it, right? Second is networks and communities, like on Discord, Facebook groups, real world, like, associations, and, like I don't know what they call it, Rotary Club or these kind of groups. I'm not part of any of this, but these kind of groups can, like, give you, like, real, like, maybe part of, like, what do you say, in your city type of shit. School. Then Twitter, like X. Some social media platforms are very biased to certain types of information. Like on TikTok and Instagram, all you see is, like, girls shaking their ass and, like, cat videos and all. But on Twitter, on X, you see a lot of, like, high level intelligence, like money, business stuff. Even on YouTube, you see a lot of, like, spirituality and, like, business stuff. So depends on where you are. I would suggest, like, you go more into that side. Books really help you. The you don't know what you don't know thing comes down to ego, right? Like, because you assume you know, and that's why you don't know that you don't know. But if you were like, okay, I know nothing, and that's wisdom. To wisdom is to say, I don't know anything, I'm a fool. Because this was my problem. I thought I was wise, and in the Bible it says anybody who thinks of himself as wise is a fucking fool. you know. And, like, I was I was always told by my family members and everything, like, yeah, you have a lot of wisdom for for being a kid. You have a lot of wisdom. Oh, like, so that got to me. I genuinely believe that got to me as an ego. And I was still a very humble person, and I was still learning a lot and doing things. But when I took a big hit in life, and I was like, why didn't I take the advice of what these guys were talking about? Like, why did I watch all of Patrick Bet David's YouTube videos but not read any of his fucking books? Why did I like watch all of his YouTube videos? And he spoke about reading. Literally, he has like a library with the shape of READ, like read. It says read, and that's his bookshelf. Why did I never read? Conor McGregor, he's my favorite athlete of all time. He's one of my favorite icons. Even on Delusion's website, in my story page, in the story page, the first person that comes up is Conor. Like, it's him holding the two belts, and it's like, I lost my mind in this game. And like, I adore these guys. Like, I love these guys. These guys changed my life. But I didn't fucking take their advice. I didn't look into what the fuck these guys were saying. Like, why? Why? Like, what's wrong with me, right? And so, when I lost everything, and that time I saw Iman Gaji, like, and he's like younger than me and more successful. So I'm like fucking pissed now because I just hit rock bottom, and I see a guy who's 2 years younger than me, like way ahead, like leap years ahead. I'm like, fuck, I'm playing this game wrong. So then I really had to humble myself, like really humble myself, and just start. And I'm like, okay, what is this kid doing? If he's doing it and he's this success, if I just do what he does, if I just like, for once in my life, just shut my ego, like shut the fuck up, don't listen to any of that inner garbage, and just do what this person is saying word for word. And he was like, meditate in the morning 10-15 minutes and like read books, one book a week, and just do this for like 3 years and you'll be a success. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I kind of started doing that, and I went into the agency business and everything. I said goodbye to ecom, which again, like at that point in my life, it was necessary. I had to let go. But that humility unlocked everything for me. And because I was like humble enough to admit, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I was wrong. I'm not going in the right path. What that did was, it showed me what I did right, what I did wrong. And then it showed me that actually I was on the right path. My direction was correct. I had some weird variations and deviations, and I made a lot of mistakes. But I wasn't, directionally I was correct, tactically I was wrong, but I'm still good, and I can bring this back around, and I have a lot of things going for me, and whatever I don't have going for me, I can fix, because now I have the tools. I'm reading and shit. And I started reading 10 books a year, then 15 books a year. Like this last year I read 33 books. This year I'm gonna do 50. Like, and through these books, I learned like visualization and manifestation, and all these topics came up, and I just started being more humble. And that told me like, okay, there is so much I don't know. Like, there are so many skills that I don't have, technical. I didn't know there was a thing called limiting beliefs, self-story, manifestation, spirituality shit. And I've always been a very spirituality type guy, like deep, like, like forever is composed of nows, that type of shit. And I still never took it seriously, and that's all because of my ego. So be humble, because you really don't know what you don't know, and you're the biggest thing that's holding you back. Like, you're genuinely your greatest enemy. Like Alexander the Great has that quote, right? It's like, I have met the enemy and it is I. And it's so true, man. Like, you are your fucking enemy. I am my fucking enemy. There is so many things that I know that I should be doing today that I'm not doing. Why? Like, why? I'm not doing it. I know I need to do it. I know how to do it. I know when to do it. I have everything. I'm not doing it. Why? So there's something within me itself. There's that internal conflict that's holding me back, right? And these things, we need to figure it out. How do we do that? Where's the tools? What do we use? All these things can be found, and like, you can never fix a problem if you're not willing to accept it, and even worse if you're not willing to identify it, and even worse if you're not even aware that shit exists. Like, you can look for a problem if you know the problem is somewhere there, right? Like, so really be humble, because when you're humble, what happens is, you assume I know nothing. So you assume you're kind of like always in the wrong, you're always in the, like, you're a beginner, so you're constantly looking for answers. The me today, I'm like, okay, fuck, finance I suck, fashion I suck, content I suck, marketing I suck, I just think I suck in everything. When I started, I was like, I'm the best, I'm the shit, and it was like fake, it was really fake. uh, it was like arrogance, like, to cover up my insecurity. And honestly speaking, I was quite humble compared to like a lot of people, but I was still too arrogant for my own journey, if that makes sense. And I still think I was too arrogant. Maybe I'm trying to like give my younger self a pass right now, but you can figure things out. You just have to be willing to accept, like, that you're a moron, and it's okay to be a fucking idiot, dude. Like, none of us know what the fuck we're doing. Like, nobody knows. Like, that's something I learned. The me today knows so much more than the me like starting 5 years ago, and I'm just as much of a dickhead and a fool as today that I was that time. And you will also be like this. So don't judge yourself for not knowing. Just because you don't know things doesn't mean you are less of a person. There's no like shame in admitting you don't know something is the height of wisdom. Like, it's like, I'm the stupidest person in this room, which is a good thing, because now I can learn from all of these people. Even if I get like famoosed, even if I get conned by like one of these guys, now I have the experience of getting conned, and so if I go into another room, I don't get conned again. So be really humble. You don't know what you don't know, and you can find it out using the methods I described: reading books, mentors, hanging out with successful friends, private groups, networking, correct social media platforms, correct crowds, and really just being curious and going deep. Like, I used to, I had a very like broad understanding of everything that was in the world, in my world, like towards my journey, what I needed to achieve my dreams, but I never went in depth. Small example, like I said, Connor, Patrick, Dan Pena, big coach online. He was always talking about read these two books, Think and Grow Rich, and I did read Think and Grow Rich in 2021, right before I started losing everything. But he also said, read Release Your Brakes by Jim Newman, and I didn't do that, and I did that last year. Like, and that book fucking like was so important for me, so important. And now all these things are coming. And guys, there is just so much. Like, a book I read, Reality Transurfing, which came to me after I was willing to humble myself with the Iman thing, and he recommended that book, and I read it. And guys, that book was like, that is an insane book. Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zealand. Okay, it's an occult, like, spirituality, metaphysics, quantum physics book. It's fucking insane. Okay, like, I've never read anything like that, and before that and since that, it's truly like one of a kind book. Even the Kabbalion, like, it's there, but Reality Transurfing is really special. But I recommend this shit to you guys. Take action on this. Even if it's just one of these things I said, I would suggest reading, because that habit can open all the other doors you want. Like, you might pick up one book and find like, oh, there's 10 different doors I can access through this one door. So reading is like this compounding spiral, or like chain reaction habit, you can call it. It's a chain reaction habit. That's why like guys like Elon Musk and Iman Gadzi, like, I think Iman is like the Elon of my generation, because like early, like 14 years old, 12 years old. I mean, I'm talking about in terms of timelines. Like Elon and these guys, all they have in common is that at the ages of like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they were reading. And I'm in like a later stage. Like, I started reading at like 25, 26, 27, which is like what Patrick with David and all these guys did. So it doesn't matter when you start, as long as you can notice that like this pattern of when people started reading, they started opening shit for them. So I really recommend that for you. Yeah, that's it. Fuck off.